Did anybody catch that back, that tissue testing? See, I'm a guy that takes the soil test, but the soil test, I got a big project out in South Dakota, and we got the soil test back, and they come back with 8 pHs and really high in calcium. But they do that Haney test now, that's a soil health test, and they're measuring water extractions. On the soil Haney test, it's excessively low on calcium. Now that would be like, see, if the tissue test is really, now the tissue test, you got to be really careful. Those guys yesterday were testing the sick spots in their field. I said, but you already know they're sick. You don't need to test that. Why don't you test the good spots and find out what your next limiting factor is? So tissue testing, I'm 100% in favor of also. That is a method of monitoring what the plant is actually getting. So I like to do the soil test and the tissue test. But to double their yields, they're doing all these other little things, and nobody's getting high yields without high phosphorus uptake. So is your phosphorus uptake really good in your plants?
I would like to think so. We never have a problem. You know, phosphorus is there, so our indices are good.
Mm-hmm. So that was why someone said to me, "Oh, you got to be no-till to have mycorrhizae." Anybody understand what mycorrhizae fungus is? It's, you know, it's what doubles and quadruples that root system. It's a little fungus that grows out in the soil, and everybody said we need more fungus out here. I said, "You're going to do a mycorrhizae test. How do I know if I have it? And do I need to add it?" Well, what's a good indication I got enough mycorrhizae fungus? If you doubled your phosphorus uptake in your crop you're growing, you don't need a test for mycorrhizae, because you can't do that one through chemistry. You got to do it through biology. So if you doubled your phosphorus uptake, I'd say you got plenty of mycorrhizae. There's no sense of buying any more, but a little bit you can spend for it. You said it's just pennies on the dollar. Why not? I'm not opposed to that. We inoculate our soybeans and things with the mycorrhizae. Not mycorrhizae, with rhizobian organisms to produce more nitrogen. And I was telling these guys earlier, we started on some new land that had never been ever grown soybeans before. And we guy that planted forgot to put the inoculant on the bean. A month later, I'm digging up soybeans that are full of nodules. How did the rhizobian get there? We didn't put it there, and it's never had soybeans ever on it before. If we would have added it, it should have gone faster and bigger. I could have enhanced it by a couple of dollars an acre, but we just didn't get done. But we still had rhizobium. In other words, you can enhance the biology by adding it. But if you add it, and everybody wants to add the bugs out here, if they died the first time, they'll die again if you don't change how you're farming. Half the guys that go no-till expect to have yield reductions in the beginning while they go from conventional tillage to no-till. I said, why would you do that to yourself? Do you like torture? Why don't you let the clutch out slowly and figure out when to till or not to? See, I'm not a big no-till guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm a guy that says, why would you till if you don't need to? And you also got to realize if you start growing maize out here and you got residues piled this deep, and it's cold Midwestern soils and they're black, they won't dry out that next year at all if you don't expose some soil. I'm a real believer in strip tillage, but that's not our maize and our soybean crops. And when the guys double the yield, guess what we also doubled? The amount of residues out here. Now we got to learn how to manage those. So there's no one shoe that fits everybody out here, and you got to recognize you got to manage what you got to manage. And I was here the last time. You're going to grow wheat and canola and some of these things. You don't have near the residues to deal with when you start growing maize that's 12 feet tall and you grew 250 bushel, and the averages out here are 150 bushel. See, that's why I guess we do. I'm a strip till guy, but we got to learn how to manage the residues. Obviously, you don't have a problem here.
If you'd have seen this at drilling, this was a really good residue, and that's something that's, because our worm population has just gone higher and higher and higher, it's gone. Within a couple of weeks, all our residues are just taken.
You can see by the surface all the castings and the crumbliness. The soil now look like a chocolate cake.
When we started our soil organic matter, we've got organic matters between 2 and 4%, which I expected them to be that low, which is one of the reasons I started out on this. Is I knew they were dropping. I knew we couldn't continue like that, and I knew yields were coming down because of that. I think it'd be hard to say, oh, I've increased soil organic matter, because we were talking about it last night. It goes down, the worms are taking it down deeper to where are you going to test? You've got to test all the different profiles of the soil to see if there's been a jump there, in my mind. But I think the crops speak for themselves. I've improved soil health because I've got better crops. It's as simple as that, you know. And in time, I hope to move away from fungicides. I don't think we'll ever get totally away, because I think the weather will dictate. But I'm sure with nutrition in a normal year, I won't need to put the fungicides on.
If you're going to farm no-till and do this is the farm you got to move to. You can't get out of the sands and the clays. Come on, move! Because the right kind of soil works better.
It's come. If you'd have seen them 10 years ago, there's been a massive change. it really has changed since what we've been doing. It really has.
And that's what's really hard to monitor, because that change sometimes is slow.
Yeah, it is, and you don't see it because you're seeing it every day, so you don't see it as much as if you'd have come 5 years ago and then come back and have a look. You'd see the real difference. It's they've just come on. I'm just so pleased with them. You know, I'm so proud of them.
Well, it looks beautiful. Obviously, you're doing some things that are working.
Yeah.
And now where's your next step?
The next step, really, I want to get more away from putting fertiliser on. I want to get the soil to provide. You know, the air is 78% nitrogen. Well, I want to use that. That's why I put bacillus down.
I can say what do I can produce less nitrogen if I get my phosphorus levels up to a certain degree. You are exporting quite a bit of phosphorus in seed. I would watch some of those things. It's not that I have to put on every pound I take off, but I got to recycle, and some things I can pull out of the atmosphere, like nitrogen for sure. But we're the ones that want to make sure we got a pretty well balanced checkbook out here when we farm this thing for the future, and we got things to fix.
Fertiliser program, basically I'm liquid, and whenever I use liquid I will always put BioPlus Boost in, because it's Gary's product, but it's high carbon molasses, so I want to hold on to my nitrogen longer, so the carbon in the molasses will hold on to that nitrogen longer, so I'll get more use out of it. It'll stop the bacteria eating into my own organic matter, and it'll also feed the biology, so to me it's a three-way win. So I can't see why anybody wouldn't want to add Boost really to liquid fertiliser. It's